society more, race or language? In modern times, it's easy to think that race shapes society more than language does. I don't quite have the answer to it, but I would probably say language is really the greater influencer when it comes to culture than race. Race is really a secondary tool that's used over language, right? Because language is how we communicate, was used as a unifying factor. Catholicism, Christianity was used as a unifying factor. Then secondly, language, right? Language was then tied together as a unifying factor, right? This is why English is spoken all around the world. Then three, race then became the unifying factor to tie it all together. So one, if we can transcend geographic locations, right? So if you are this skin color, and it doesn't matter what language you speak or what religion you are, we are the same. What shapes society more, race or language? In modern times, it's easy to think that race shapes society more than language does. I don't quite have the answer to it, but I would probably say language is really the greater influencer when it comes to culture than race. Race is really a secondary tool that's used over language, right? Because language is how we communicate. What I credit Europeans for, and it just recently clicked for me, what I credit Europeans for and them having the ability to transcend racial identity 400 or 500 years ago and basically, and transcend language and say, you know what? It doesn't matter where you're from. If you have this skin color, then we are alike. You got to understand the genius of this for a second, right? So imagine it doesn't matter if you speak Greek, if you speak Arabic, if you speak Amharic or German, Latin, of Germanic language. You have to understand 400 or 500 years ago, Europe was extremely fragmented. It wasn't like it is today. And people can argue it's still fragmented. You have a West Europe, you have an Eastern Europe, right? Europe was very fragmented because each nation and city-states spoke a lot of different languages. So imagine, how do we communicate when there's so many different languages that's spoken? And this is why, one, religion was used as a unifying factor. Catholicism, Christianity was used as a unifying factor. Then secondly, language, right? Language was then tied together as a unifying factor, right? This is why English is spoken all around the world. Then three, race then became the unifying factor to tie it all together. So one, if we can transcend geographic locations, right? So if you are this skin color, and it doesn't matter what language you speak or what religion you are, we are the same. And everyone that doesn't have this skin color, they're not the same. That's genius. It's not ethical, but it's genius. You have to respect the genius of that for a second. Like, you got to think of it strategically, right? If you're playing a sport and you're trying to say, hey, we need teammates and this is how we're going to win, that's genius. As a player, I could respect the ingenuity of that. Then using a belief system to unite everyone that's different, right? Because there's so many different languages, we need a belief system that can unify us. That's where Christianity comes in, right? Then then we can fall back on the idea that we're going to unify us through language. That's genius. Now, why did the people that they were up against, why did that not work out for them? Because everyone else couldn't get past the fact that we are different, that we speak different languages, so we're different. It's hard to understand in modern terms. Most people, they look at this first, especially if you grew up in the West. You're this color, so we are the same. So it's easy for us to relate to that because we are after the invention of racism. But if you were back then, that wouldn't make sense to you because a person could be a different color than you, but they could culturally be the same. You guys could speak the same language, have the same religion, right? Whereas all of the people that they were conquering, the people in the Middle East, the people in Africa, people in Europe, people in Asia, the reason why they couldn't unify to stop them is because these people are over here being subjugated. But in my mind, we're not the same because we speak a different language. Even though we're both this color, I'm watching Europeans conquer this other tribe. But I can't connect with them because of tribalism. We speak a different language. We have a different origin story. So they might as well be aliens. They are an other in psychology. You got to understand what I'm saying. So that's when people like Neely Fuller Jr. say they were on code and all of the victims are off code. That's really what he's saying. And it's so simple, but it could be difficult to understand if you don't understand the greater picture. So I got to give them credit for that. They were incredibly smart in creating that. But to all of the victims, it's up to the victims to be just as smart and finding out a way to stop the subjugation, right? To find freedom, find a way to maneuver through that because no one should be subjugated. And we want to create a world where no one is mistreated. I repeat, we want to create a world where no one is mistreated, right? So I got to give them credit for that, for being genius in that. And then to all of the victims of that system, I have to give us credit for never creating a system where you're going to be subjugated based on the color of your skin. So in us, and that's what Neely Fuller Jr. says, in us not creating a system to discriminate people based on the color of their skin, we have been correct. In us not creating a counter system to counteract a system that discriminates against people because of the color of their skin, we have been incorrect.